So what I think of broken man, and I think MY hit on a lot of them. A lot of trauma. I would say a lot in my experience. I've witnessed a lot of guys, been around a lot of guys who suffer from PTSD from being in the military or being on deployment. Those guys are broken. Those are guys what I consider literally broken. Like this, their minds are just so mapped to combat in their experience and everything they hear, every loud sound, every cry, every yell, it just puts them back in that that scene, and they just don't even know how to tell that from reality. Is it a responsibility of a woman? No, because that wasn't her cause. It wasn't caused by a woman. I would have to lean on other things. That's why I appreciate what NY said. You know, trauma. Yes, I'm with Trev when you have to. The onus is on you. It's your responsibility to go and deal with your trauma. But if you got somebody like the Antoine Fishers, where this woman was harming him, I think the dude on that movie, Dr. Davenport, which was played by Denzel Washington, played a significant part in his life while having him go back to meet these people, face these people. And I think that actually brought some healing to his life. Being able to ask him, why did you do that to me? You know what I'm saying? He was always wanting to know why. And I think the answer to that was a part of the healing process. And I would say another thing that breaks men, if we go back to the scenario that I had stated earlier about the gentleman who was castrated by his wife and his daughters, falsely accused. I don't know how much broken you can be by anything, but to see the love of your life accuse you that, and not only that, the daughters that know that you didn't touch them say that you did, because I think Inyala Van Zant took the heat off of the girls. I think they were old enough to be able to be like, Mama, now you know Dad ain't do that shit. But they didn't even do that, man. I cannot tell you how I can't even probably resonate with the guy. But I love my kids, but I wouldn't be able to resonate with a man. His own children lied on him like that. Like I don't even know if you can even be healed by that. And that's one case where I would say the responsibility should be on the wife who caused that destruction. But even if she apologized to him, I don't even think that could fix that. Like I think that dude would be broken forever.
But I go back to Ty, where she said the only person that can truly heal you and void you is God, But I don't know how many people are religious, but we expect these things out of humans and they're not going to be able to give it to us. And what if the person that hurt you dies? Are you going to stay angry and broken and unhealed for the rest of your life? Like, we have to find some way of trying to somewhat get some type of sense of healing and peace.
But
And
even if you
sometimes what we think is broken ain't always broken, because people look at somebody struggle and be like, oh, they broken. No, struggling and broken is two different things. So we got to make sure we're not conflicting the two as well.
but
And
even if you
really,
put
really
God into it,
understanding what is broken and what it really looks like. And if it goes back to the conversation we had earlier about emotional available, if men not being emotional, how do we even know that y'all are broken if y'all taught to keep that inside too? So that will go back to the emotionally unavailable. If you're taught to keep everything inside and go on to the world of we got to be the strongest, and you're really fucked up inside,
but you
that
gotta
can break a
understand,
man too if they can't let that out,
but Jasmine,
or a person.
a lot of the stuff that really breaks us, you could see it happening in society without us having even to speak about it. You can visually see men being broken down every day in society. We can't even be a man. That's toxic today. Just to be us.
Mm-hmm.
Can you fathom how much emotional distress that? Just imagine, just think of it like this. This would probably be the equivalence of how we feel when our biology is under attack. Think of and I think of a transgender winning the best woman in the world award or some shit like that. How would you feel about that? Like what? How can she win that? You know what I'm saying? That's probably a bad analogy. But let me go back to when you said God, it would take God to heal. What you gonna run into, and from my experience and from the people I've spoken to that are also religious, what you gonna run into when you bring religion or God into it, you're gonna have to understand that the people who cause you harm or the trauma you go through, you're in a world where it's not of God. You know what I'm saying? Anything that happened to you is by the will of our own selves. And once we leave this life, all of those things will pass away. So anything that come to you, like because I used to go crazy when I hear schools being shot up, and I'm like, I was just wondering how the hell are those people supposed to? Should they pray? Like, what is prayer going to do for you losing your elementary your kids at a shooting you just you can pray, but that's not gonna bring your kid back. You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna understand that this world is corrupt, this world is evil, and it's not the way God intended it to be. And our happiness and our redemption and all that stuff and our healing, our true healing, is gonna come after we pass. So that, and I might be wrong. There might be some miracle energy that come from God that says, "Oh yeah, now you can cope with it." But I haven't reached that yet, so forgive me.
Darwin, I think praying alone won't do anything, right? Because faith without works is dead. So that's why I stated not only do you have to have that connection with God, but you also have to maybe go through therapy. You have to be able to express yourself to someone. You have to be able to work through that trauma. Yes, in that extreme situation, losing a child is extremely devastating for any parent. And it's not something you'll get over. Even as a child losing a parent, it's not something you just get over. It's something you learn to live and deal with. But people have used that pain, and like Marcus was stating, they used it to propel them to educate others. They use it in a way to help not only heal themselves, but heal others who are going through it, to create foundations, to figure out, scenarios and solutions to the problem that their child went through. So it's not an easy fix. It's not like, oh, God is just going to take this pain away. No, you're going to have to go through it. You're going to have to feel those emotions. But the end result is you can get through it. You can grow through it. You can get better. You just have to be willing and able to.
Well, let me give you
So,
one more piece of understanding before Sweeney take over. I think a lot of this stuff that we put ourselves, the situations we get into whenever we become broken, and then we try to use God to heal us out of it. I think initially we weren't supposed to be operating like that. We weren't supposed to be out killing and murdering each other
Yeah.
for us to go back and turn around and ask God to put that out of our life. I think the whole reason why we weren't, it was a commandment not to murder and kill each other, is because God knew that we was going to have to deal with that for the rest of our lives.
Hmm.
It wasn't for us to be going to go do drugs and rip up our families and stuff. These things weren't supposed to be how we were supposed to operate. And because it wasn't supposed the way we were supposed to operate, no one created any healing for that. You know what I'm saying? There was no, just don't do it. This is not how you're supposed to behave or operate or do unto one another. So when you do unto one another and you operate like this, you will reap what you sow. And I think it's just a matter of reaping what you sow in these cases.